Welcome to the You Empowered podcast with your host, Justine. If you want to unlock your potential and step into the most authentic, healthiest, and happiest version of you, then you're in the right place. Each week we'll dive into practical, evidence-based strategies for your habits, mindset, and health so you can create a life and a body you love. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome back. So I've been coaching women from motherhood to midlife for about 11 years now, and a pattern that consistently comes up and that I see repeat over and over again is seeing women feel guilty for prioritizing themselves and their goals. And this almost always stems from self-worth, but it can also come from real life pressures and responsibilities like work, kids, aging parents, and the never-ending demands of daily life. So you might have tried a plan or even hired a professional to help you before, but this approach didn't consider the messiness of your real life, which just ended up making you feel inadequate when you couldn't stick to it in order to see results. So I wanted to speak on this today because I really believe that every woman deserves self-care and to have her needs prioritized in her own life. I see a lot of women still believing the lie that putting themselves first is selfish to their loved ones and their responsibilities. But over the 11 years that I've coached women, I've only seen the opposite to be true. Because when a woman takes care of herself, she becomes more present, more patient, more energized, more confident, and more capable. The people in her life benefit from her being resourced rather than depleted. So this has a positive impact on those around her, her career and how she shows up, and her confidence to try new things or learn new things because she knows she's capable of more. This is why one of the first things I do with new clients is simplify and eliminate the things that are time wasters and energy drainers in their life. A lot of women continue to put themselves on the back burner because they think that going after their health and fitness goals means adding more to their plate. But the right approach for you for a lasting transformation is a process of both subtraction and addition. The subtraction part is removing the noise, the overwhelm, and the energy drainers. And the additional part is it gives you back your time, your energy, and your mental clarity because you're no longer stuck in overthinking, procrastination, and wasting precious energy and effort on the things that don't move the needle for you. But today we're not diving into that. Today I'm giving you practical steps to shift your relationship with yourself so you can stop feeling guilty about prioritizing your needs and your self-care so you can stop putting yourself last. This is something that I work with my clients on so they learn healthy boundaries, communication, and nervous system regulation so they can feel fully in control and at peace in their life, not just get great results. So just to clarify, self-care is not bubble baths, retail therapy, or massages. Those things are fantastic and are great, but they're actually self-soothing. That's not actually real self-care. Real self-care is doing the things that your future self and body would thank you for. It's building your fitness and strength for you to have an energized and strong body that gives you the ability to move freely and effortlessly. It's nourishing your body well so you feel healthy, focused, and well-fueled. It's taking care of your mental health and emotional well-being so you have more capacity for life to thrive, not just survive. So if this is resonating for you right now, and if you are really honest with yourself, you're like, yeah, I'm kind of putting myself on the back burner. I'm not really prioritizing myself right now. I'm going to give you 3 very powerful steps to change this. These are steps that I've used with my clients, and it's going to take you about 10 minutes to do, but I promise you it's worth it. It's worth your time. I've only ever received good feedback on this process. I do recommend using a paper and a pen for this activity. So by all means, listen to this episode, but maybe bookmark if you're driving in the car right now, bookmark it to come back to it with a paper and pen when you have that available to you. So the first step I'm calling clarity, and this first step is being super honest with yourself about what you want. So you're going to identify your top goals that if time, your responsibilities, or whatever you feel is limiting you right now weren't an issue, you would love to focus on. I would recommend keeping this to no more than 3 goals and make sure that these goals are super clear and specific. So for example, don't just write, I'd like more energy and to lose weight. Like, that's a very vague goal. So ask yourself, if you can't seem to specify it, ask yourself what that goal would actually look like and feel like for you. So taking that example of losing weight and having more energy, you might specify it to, I want to lose 15 kilos and I want to start doing swimming lessons twice a week and going to bed 30 minutes earlier, as an example. So you see how we've taken a very vague goal, we've made it super clear and specific, so there's no room for vagueness or confusion. Okay, that's the first step, super simple. The second step is what I'm calling meaning. So once you have clarity on what your main goals are, you're going to ask yourself these very two simple questions. The first is to ask yourself why these goals matter to you. So get really honest with yourself here. And if you find that you're coming up with surface level answers like, well, I just want to feel more confident or have more energy, ask yourself why that is important to you, and keep asking yourself why until you uncover the real reason. So for example, let's say that your goal is to lose 15 kilos, and you can ask yourself, okay, why do I want to lose 15 kilos? Because I want to have more energy. Okay, why do you want to have more energy? Well, because I want to be able to play with my kids more and be taken seriously at work. Okay, why do you want to play with your kids more and be taken seriously at work? Well, I want to be a better mum and I want to apply for that promotion that's coming up in 3 months. Okay, why do I want to apply for that promotion and be a good mum? Because I love my kids and I want to be able to provide for my family. So do you see how you started with, I want more energy, and you've come to the real reason why these goals matter to you? So the first question to ask yourself is why these goals matter to you. The second question is to ask yourself, what would it mean about me if I achieved this goal? So an example of this could be, if I lost 15 kilos and got more energy, it would mean that I'm someone with discipline and that I'm a good mum and I'm healthy because I have more stamina to play with my kids. So do you see, again, that's just an example, but that's the second question you're going to ask yourself is, what would this mean about me if I achieved this goal? So far you should have your goals written out, why these goals matter to you, and what it would mean about you if you achieve them. So the third and the final phase of this process is what I'm calling shifting from guilt to self-respect. And this is the piece that's crucial for you to actually shift out of guilt to self-respect, hence the name. So you can have clarity and meaning around your goals, but if you're still holding onto the belief that your needs come after everyone else's, then that guilt is going to keep you stuck. So I want you to first notice how this guilt is showing up in your life. So it can often hide in sentences like, I just don't have time, work's really busy right now. After I pick up the kids from school, it's absolute chaos from 3 p.m. until bedtime. I just need to wait for things to settle down. You get the idea. So I want you to identify all the areas and all the ways this guilt is showing up for you right now in your life and write them out. And it might not just be in your excuses, it might be in how you show up, it might be in how it impacts your family, your career. There could be like a long list. You can compartmentalize it if it helps you to put them into categories, but you're going to identify all the areas and the ways that this guilt is showing up for you and impacting your life. And I just want to share that this isn't a moment for you to judge yourself. These aren't flaws. These are protective habits that you have learned to help you avoid disappointing others and disrupting social rhythms, but they have also stopped you from honoring your own needs. So if no one has told you this yet, responsibility does not have to mean self-sacrifice. You can care for others and prioritize yourself at the same time. So once you've identified and written down all the ways this guilt is showing up in your life, the next part is a little confronting, so I'm just warning you now, but it is absolutely crucial for you in order to shift this. The next part is you're going to write down the negative impact of this guilt in your life right now, and you're also going to write down the compounding negative impact of this guilt in your life if nothing changes for you in 5 years' time. So looking at all the ways this guilt is having a negative impact on your life for right now and listing that out, and then also creating a new list and writing down the compounding results of doing nothing about it and the compounding results of that guilt being in your life in 5 years' time. Now, I understand that this part is tough to face. This is the most confronting and challenging part of this process, but it is also the most crucial for you in order to start to really shift out of this guilt cycle and shift into self-respect. So once you have done that, you're going to ask yourself one last question. If I believed I was worthy of prioritizing my own needs and believed that I could do this without sacrificing the responsibilities I have, How would I show up differently to how I'm showing up for myself right now? That's it. That's the one last question you're going to ask yourself. Now, once you have the answers to that question, you're going to turn it into a simple, actionable step by simply identifying how you can translate that answer into a very simple, easy to commit to action step or a daily habit that you can put into your week. Now, the key here is that it has to be super simple, because lasting change happens through incremental changes. It doesn't happen through intensity. So this is not the part where you have a moment or a spur of motivation and you're like, I'm going to join the gym and work out 4 days a week, and I'm, going to change my entire meals from Monday to Friday and cut out sugar. Like, I just want you to slow down a bit and trust me with this. But for this to be effective, you have to start small. It has to be a simple, easy habit that you can literally do on your busiest of days, okay? So that could look like I'm going to commit to adding 1 piece of fruit to my breakfast, or I'm going to commit to upping my protein for my lunch so I have 30 grams for lunch, 30 grams of protein for lunch every day, or I'm going to commit to doing 10 minutes of walking every day, or 10 minutes of meditation. So like I said before, it has to be something that is so simple and easy for you to do that you can do it on your busiest of days. The next part of this, and the final part of this, is you need to protect your time for yourself. So it's easy to go, okay, I'm going to, let's say, commit to 10 minutes of walking every day. But if you don't put that somewhere that you can remind yourself that you've got that as your commitment, it's very easy to go through your day, and especially as things come up, and completely forget. And then the next minute, you're lying in bed and you're like, shit, I didn't do my 10-minute walk today. So the second part of this, and the last part of this, is I recommend blocking out time for whatever small action or small daily habit that you've decided to commit to from this process, and put that into your calendar or your diary or whatever you use to schedule your time with. Now, you can move this around. Maybe Monday to Friday, you can do this habit or this action step in the morning, and maybe on the weekends, it might be an afternoon thing. That's okay. That's flexible. But again, going back to what I said before, you want to block out the time here, because consistency begins with protecting pockets of your time, and you build self-trust by showing up for yourself in those small, repeatable ways. Over time, those small commitments compound into a life where you no longer question whether you deserve to take care of yourself, because you just do. I hope you got a lot of value from today's episode and that it was supportive for you. If it has been, please do me a huge favor and rate this show and leave a review. It's the only way that this show grows and reaches the women that need to listen to it and hear it. And on that note, if you think of anyone that would benefit from this episode, please spread the love and share it with them. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate you being here. Until next time, take care.